It's always horrific. Anything like this, a loss of life, and you never want it to be in your hometown.
And Flagler County Schools Superintendent Kathy Middlestat reassures the public that if anything like what happened in Uvalde, Texas, were to happen here, Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley and his deputies would act swiftly.
I know our partnership working with the Sheriff's Office and all that we do to ensure our buildings are as safe as they possibly can be. I feel very confident that parents send their kids to school, and we want to make sure we educate them, and we send them home just as healthy, as happy as when they arrive.
Every school has at least one school resource deputy in the building, while high schools have two funded through a partnership between the school district, the county, and the city of Palm Coast. Middlestat says the district is not in favor of arming teachers.
Here in Flagler County, that wasn't the appetite. We wanted to make sure the experts who were in charge of holding those firearms were the law enforcement. I want my teachers and staff to go to school and serve the purpose of education and anything else they do to support that. So I think here locally we did not pursue that option, and I'm very confident in what the sheriff provides for the schools.
Sheriff Staley says deputies are armed with an AR-15, not on their persons, but the weapon is kept secured on campus. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. It was a busy start to Memorial Day weekend for the Flagler County Sheriff's Office. Deputies handled 323 calls Friday into early Saturday morning. Multiple arrests were made, including 2 arrests for subjects in possession of narcotics, an arrest of a thief providing false identification to deputies, and 1 drug dealer. All spent the remainder of their holiday weekend behind bars.
Cases of the latest Omicron variant keep rising in Flagler County. County Health Officer Bob Snyder.
We had 219 cases officially reported this week compared to 173 the week before. Due to the significant use of home testing kits whose results are not reportable, the real prevalence of positive cases is most likely 3 to 4 times the 219 cases.
Flagler County hasn't seen any deaths associated with COVID over the last 2 months, and hospitalizations related to COVID remain low. Those who public health officials are most concerned about:
individuals who are immunocompromised, for example, have cancer, someone who is elderly with many chronic conditions like diabetes, hypertension, lung disease, heart disease. These are the folks that we strongly suggest should consider getting not only vaccinated, but get their 2 booster shots as well.
Antiviral medication called Paxlovid is available by prescription only for those with symptomatic COVID-19. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Amy Cherry.
A trip to the store lands a Flagler County man in jail.
Sheriff Rick Staley says the man was getting a cup of coffee and a 76-year-old man was in line in front of him.
Apparently he was standing in line to pay for his purchase at a convenience store when the unknown man behind him became impatient and threw his cup of coffee at the resident's feet and then left the store.
But that wasn't the end of it.
And this individual charged him, sucker punched him in the face, knocking him to the ground, and then fled.
And the whole thing was caught on video.
Between deputies, good police work, and our real-time crime center, we were able to identify the individual and arrest him. This is a disgusting incident that someone would do this to one of our older residents. He could have seriously injured or killed this individual because he became impatient. And I'm glad he's in our jail.
The man is now charged with battery of a person over 65. The victim was hospitalized with minor injuries. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
It's hurricane preparation season.
The official start of hurricane season will be here soon, and Flagler County officials are urging you to prepare early by shopping locally and taking advantage of the sales tax holiday going on now through June 10th, 2 full weeks. Flagler County Emergency Management Director Jonathan Lord.
On the high end, things like generators up to $1,000 will be tax-free. Items like tarps, ground anchor systems, portable pet kennels that are $100 or less will be tax-free. Smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, carbon monoxide detectors, $70 or less will be tax-free. Coolers, those new power banks you see everywhere, $60 or less, they're tax-free. Batteries, $50 or less are tax-free.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed legislation designating a 2022 disaster preparedness sales tax holiday. In addition to common disaster preparedness items, pet supplies are included this year too. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
May is National Stroke Awareness Month.
Dr. Paul Mucciolo says you need to know the signs of a stroke and you need to know them fast.
For facial, arm weakness, speech difficulty, and the T is the most important one for time to call 911 for the ambulance.
Dr. Mucciolo says that COVID caused many people not to come to the emergency room for treatment because they didn't want to come down with coronavirus or be exposed to it.
We saw a lot of patients who were potentially treatable and who went up outside the window by days to weeks to months, who would come in with a deficit in their arm or their leg or sensory deficit or a speech problem that really we could have managed much more effectively had they come in time.
Mucciolo, who heads up Advent Health Palm Coast's emergency department, said on a recent episode of Lifeline that if a person has any symptoms of a stroke at all, they need to get to the emergency room immediately. Listen to Lifeline on WNZF on Saturday mornings at 9 or anytime on the Flagler radio app. Tomorrow, Dr. Mucciolo answers the question, what exactly is a stroke? From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.